All right, welcome back to KM6 LYW Radio, the show about amateur radio or ham radio, reimagining radio in the information age. Hey, we've got a new thing here. Let's figure out what this is. It's a medieval torture device, orbiting brain laser, or maybe the best software-defined radio receiver antenna you can get. Let's check it out. This time on KM6 LYW Radio. All right, welcome back. Yeah, that is the bumper music. Yeah, I've got the 12-string guitar today. All right, it's probably a repeat. I don't know. It's cheap bumper music if you do it yourself. All right, let's check this out. The software-defined radio receiver antenna. So guys, I've been really into software-defined radio lately. What this is a radio receiver that allows you to receive pretty much the entire radio spectrum, at least the portions of the spectrum I'm interested in. This is everything from broadcast FM to ham radio to public safety to aircraft band, all the way up to like 1 gigahertz where we have ADSB, aircraft telemetry. And you can listen to all of that on this little device that you plug into your computer or Raspberry Pi. Now what you need is an antenna that will receive all of those frequencies. Most antennas are usually resonant on 1 or maybe 2 bands, like a ham radio antenna is going to be resonant on 144 and 440, right? And it's not going to pick up ADSB aircraft signals at 1 gigahertz very well. It's just not. You need a really wide band antenna or an antenna with an extremely low Q factor. Q factor just means it's resonant on a broad range of frequencies. So that's what this thing is. This is a Discone antenna. And I never knew what Discone meant, but originally there used to be, you could have like a copper disc and a cone, and then this would be like your resonant or radiant element, and this would be your ground plane. So this is a Discone in theory. So we have a disc here and a cone here, and it's a disc cone antenna. Now this thing takes it to the next level and has these resonating elements up here, all at different lengths, presumably pulling in lots of different frequencies. I don't know. So the top one's at 22.5 inches. Sorry, I don't know the metrics on this, guys. This is probably going to be for like broadcast FM, 90, 100 megahertz. Then the next biggest one is 11 inches, and he has a little coil on here, which gives him like a 2 to 4 centimeter band. That's like maybe 1 gigahertz, right? And then the next guy is 9 inches, and then the shortest one here is a 6.25. So these are some of the resonators. Now I thought maybe I would go ahead and swap this big one out for a 2 meter, a quarter wave 2 meter antenna, and I did. It's basically I cut it here and it's that long. Actually, the signal got worse. I lost about 10 dB on the 2 meter band by doing that. So I don't know how or if these are chosen to work together, or if you can swap them out. I honestly, I didn't swap them out. I put it back to stock, and I really like it. This is really receiving all of the signals I just mentioned, and I can put it in the attic. It's not designed to be outdoors. They'll tell you that up front. It's like a desktop antenna. And what's cool here is there's a huge magnet. So you could actually stick this on your car. I've got this up in the attic, connected with some, it actually comes with some RG58 here. Not bad quality. And yeah, it's picking up everything that I'm interested in here. So let's check it out. I did some nano VNA sweeps, and then we can look at it on the SDR receiver here as well. All right, so full disclosure, I am using an SDR Play software-defined radio, but this is like $30, and the SDR Play is about like $150. So just to let you know, that's what we're using here. So I thought I'd start off with ADSB. This is what FlightAware uses. If you use FlightAware.com, so it knows where your plane is. It seems like FlightAware knows where your plane is more than the airlines. But this is me here in California. I'm about right here. Hopefully you can see my mouse. So you can kind of see the range for 1.09 gigahertz. That's the frequency these are operating on. So all of these airplanes are transmitting their telemetry data, their altitude, bearing, and speed. We see all the flights here. And yeah, you can install this for Raspberry Pi. It's totally cool. It's called PiAware. It's actually running on my PC Linux workstation. But PyAware is ultimately, I guess, what feeds FlightAware. But you can see the range here. At 1 gigahertz, I'm getting a Delta Airlines flight probably 200 miles away. Now, keep in mind they have the advantage of elevation, but that's pretty cool for an antenna that does a lot of other modes, not just the ADSB airline stuff. So I can go ahead and stop this guy. And I'm going to shut down the FlightAware software because we are going to also fire up SDR++, which is pretty cool. Let me get this fired up. Hey, since we're on this webpage, this is the bad news, guys. This is it's $75 US, which in the big scheme of things isn't a lot for a nice antenna. And in Europe, of course, you can get it for about 50 euros. It's marketed as a Skyscan desktop. 25 to 2 gigahertz. It's actually marketed from 25 megahertz to 2 gigahertz. And it actually is kind of resonant on that entire band. So 75 in the US and 50 in Europe. All right, now for the cool stuff. Let's fire up SDR++. Great software-defined radio software. It runs on everything, Windows, Mac, Linux. So here I am at 93 megahertz. This is pretty much the low end of the spectrum. Now, keep in mind, this goes from 25 megahertz to 2 gigahertz. And so we're just going to look at maybe some cool stuff here. We're on wide FM. I'm going to fire this up. 93 megahertz is, in fact, broadcast FM. Let's see what that sounds like. We're on wide FM.
Downtown LA Law Group. Right now we're taking a look at southbound 99.
Not bad. I've got a signal at about -40 with a noise floor of -70. So you heard that. That was pretty good to code. That's actually kind of a tough station to get into. So we can keep rolling up the band here. Here we are at 100 megahertz, still an FM broadcast, still getting good reception. Let's keep going up to 120. This is aircraft band. This is where we're going to hear pilots and towers. I would have to switch this into AM. To hear the air. I don't know why aircraft are still on AM. Just looking around here, I don't see any airplanes talking at the moment. It's kind of like whack-a-mole. You'll see a signal here, and then by the time you click on it, they're done talking. So aircraft band, noise floor. This you can kind of watch the noise floor. It sits right around -70. Yeah, the pilots aren't going to talk for me here today. Is that a signal? No, that's okay. So narrow. I'm going to take it back to narrow FM. And we're going to keep walking up here. We got 130 megahertz. So this is like polar orbit satellites are up here. Actually, polar orbiting satellites. I wonder if we can get a satellite right now. I don't see one. We can zoom in on it. The weather satellites hang out here. Nah, I don't think that's a satellite frequency. But hey, you can listen to satellites with software-defined radio, and this antenna is picking it up. I'm at about -80 on the noise floor here. All right, so let's keep going up. We're going to get into the amateur radio bands now. This is the 2-meter band. Let's scroll over here. This is the entire 2-meter band. Very uniform here. I don't know if we can pick up a signal. We got the W6EK repeater where all the cool kids are. Let's see what these guys sound like.
Weather activity, and you're being provided that.
All right, there we are listening to the repeater, which is peaking at -40 with a noise floor of -80. So that is a huge difference. That's what you want to see on a good antenna, is a big difference between the noise floor and the actual signal. Let me zoom in here on it. That's them talking right here. I know this is kind of hard to read, but this just gives you a good idea what these signals look like with this antenna. It's pretty cool. So this is the 2-meter ham band. Lots of stations here. Let's keep on kicking it up here. We're going to cruise on up to 149. I don't know. We're getting into public safety. This is going to be police and fire here in Americas. We've got our fire department here. I listen to that a lot in California, right? We get the fires quite a bit. We got the fire command going on here. I wish some people were speaking. We've got some digital voice. Looks like some P25 action there. We've got the local sheriff here. I still don't see people talking just yet. I don't want to zoom in. I want to raise up the bar here so we can see these signals. Of course, my video game thing and the lights aren't helping this at all. Normally, this is pretty clean. So here's the sheriff's department. They're talking.
Yesterday, we spoke with a Kimberly regarding London harassing her. She's requesting.
I don't know. Hopefully, you guys can hear that. So there is public safety, the sheriff's department, and I don't know where they are. They got a repeater system somewhere here in the county. So we are picking up 159 megahertz. just as well as we were picking up broadcast FM. So let's keep cruising up here. What else do we got? There's a station here. What is this guy? I think this is weather.
6.78 inches, which is 5.39 inches below.
Yeah, that's weather. So you can get your weather reports. And again, a great signal here at 162. So this guy is negative 35 with the floor of 90. That's a huge difference. So we're picking up the weather stations, no problem. Let's keep walking up the spectrum and see what we got. I don't know what this band is. We're going to get into television right here. This is TV, so high definition television. Let me turn down to make sure this isn't too loud. All right, television. What else do we got? More TV. Let's keep on walking it up to the 1.25 meter band. This is like the 220 band. I'm not seeing any signals here. We don't get a lot of action here on 1.25. But anyways, that's the entire band right here that we're seeing. There is an interesting signal up here. I don't know what this is. It almost looks like not a satellite. I don't know. You guys are probably yelling at your TV. I don't know what signal that is. I don't think it's narrow FM. I don't know. It's barely breaking squelch. Yeah, it's just a bunch of nonsense. I don't know what that is. Interesting. All right, so hey, that's just part of the fun of software-defined radio is identifying signals. I have no idea what that is. All right, let's keep walking up. 220, we're in the military air band. If you want to listen to military stuff, though, honestly, I haven't really heard much there. I don't know what modes they use. I'm sure they're encrypted, if anything. So let's keep on going up. We're a military air band, 256 megahertz. What else do we got here? I don't know what else is military air. I got to zoom it in a little bit or increase the minimum. I don't know. That's part of the fun. We're getting close to another band that I care about, and that's going to be 440 megahertz. This is our ham band that doesn't get a lot of use here in California. So here we are at 440, the 70 centimeter ham band. I don't see a lot of fun action here either, but you can see the noise floor come and go. There's a big blip. That blip is probably a weather station, possibly my weather station. In fact, you can actually decode the weather from your neighbor's weather stations that are hanging out at 136 or so. So that was an actual weather station data, telemetry data. I don't know why they're allowed to transmit in the ham band, but you can see that blip come up right there. All right, so let's keep going. I don't see any cool signals happening in UHF, but that doesn't surprise me either. We don't have a lot of UHF activity here. So now we're into the public service bands. In fact, this is the Homeowners Association. They're not talking right now. I can listen to them. They actually use DMR radios, and if you watch another one of my videos, you can see how to decode digital voice using the network interface for this. All right, let's keep on marching up. So we are in not in public safety. We are in the business band. We've got walkie-talkies right here. This is FRS, the Family Radio Service. So if anyone's using those little tiny blister pack walkie-talkies that you see at the grocery store, that is them. We've got the casino nearby. They're actually transmitting on DMR. This is what that sounds like when they're transmitting. I don't know. I don't think we're breaking squelch. There it is. That's a DMR signal, but I don't have the voice decoder going. So that is actually a casino that's probably 40 miles from here. I know where the casino is. So that's a 40-mile reception right there at 463 megahertz. And this is all on the same antenna. That's the cool part here, guys. So we are back into TV channels. I hit the squelch here. I don't know if there's a good HD television ATSC decoder. You guys help me out there. I would really like to be able to decode digital TV, but where I live, it doesn't work. It's kind of weird to see the strange signal patterns for television. This is TV channels 21 through 36, and a TV channel is like 6 megahertz wide, high definition. So I don't know. Maybe we could figure out how to decode ATSC high definition television. I just don't get the signals here. And then I'm taking it all the way up. We are going all the way up to 1 gigahertz, 567-890-1090, which you will find is the aircraft ADSB frequency. That's what we were just looking at. You'll see these here. I'm going to zoom in on it. All these little blips there. These little lines are aircraft pings, bearing, speed, altitude. These are ADSB. It's pretty cool. I'll make it a little smaller, make them a little more evident. So that's cool. So we just scanned from 90 megahertz all the way up to 1 gigahertz, and there's all kinds of cool signals here. I'm barely scratching the surface. I could do a whole nother video on the cool signals you can check out here in this band. All right, this is the attic, and you can see I have it mounted on an inverted steel fire pit. That's just some stuff I had laying around. I don't know if it enhances the ground plane or not. You can also buy this antenna with just the disc part and the resonators, and if you have your own ground plane, so that would be cheaper, and I don't know if it works or not. So this is where it was mounted while we just did all of the SDR, or the spectrum sweep there. I want to also quickly look at the SWR on the certain bands that we're interested in. So this is FM broadcast. I'll make it a little smaller. We can see it's between 4 and 5 to 1 standing wave ratio. So 1 to 1 is perfect. So we want to see a lower line here. Lower is better. Broadcast FM, that's okay. At 4 to 1 for reception, it's fine. I wouldn't transmit into that. After that, we've got what do we got? A broad spectrum here. This is actually the ADSB, the aircraft telemetry stuff. That's actually right around 2 to 1. That's actually pretty good. So we're picking up ADSB actually better than we are the FM broadcast. That's not bad. And then this sweep is the 2 meter band for ham radio. This goes between 3 and 4. It's not great, but you saw us picking up the club repeater there, no problem. So as for reception, that isn't bad. Here we've got 150 to 165. This is the fire department and sheriff. So at 5 to 1. This is a sweep from 25 megahertz, which is as low as they say it'll go, which we're at 9 to 1 here. That's not very good at 25. So I wouldn't say it goes down to 25. But you can see up here to 1 gigahertz over here on the right. That's up to the ADSB. It's actually pretty good. And look at this whole band here. This entire spectrum is between 2 and 3 on the SWR scale, 2 and 3 to 1. So you're receiving this entire band here, no problem. In fact, we just saw evidence of that just now. It's fantastic. And then we've got 25 to 2 gigahertz. This is the advertised band of this antenna. This is kind of what we'd expect. This bottom line is 6 to 1. So we're down here 2 to 3 to 1 for this whole band. It starts getting a little rocky as we get over 2 gigahertz, but I'll give him that. I don't really have any stuff I listen to at 2 gigahertz. All right, that's cool. And then we've got the UHF or 70 centimeter band hanging out right at 3 to 1. Just fine for reception. You can transmit into that if you have to, but I'll be honest, I don't know if you're going to have a pattern that's useful. It's not going to radiate towards the horizon. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Hey, lastly, I want to give a shout out to Tech Minds. This is a great channel. If you haven't subscribed already, do so. He actually reviewed this antenna here, the wide band desktop Discone antenna. Tech Minds, great content there. Hey, and I also want to thank the patrons of the channel. You guys are killing it. So patreon.com/KM6LYW. Being a patron not only helps with the channel, but it gets you access to the DigiPi SD card image, which you put in a Raspberry Pi, you hook it up to your radio, and it gives you access to every data mode we talk about on this channel, and it does so via your phone or Wi-Fi device. Everything runs in a web browser. So real simple Raspberry Pi project that gives you access to all the data modes we talk about here. So patrons, thank you. And I know you're all using your DigiPis. It gets you access to my email address so we can help each other get online with data modes, moving information back and forth. Guys, you guys are killing it. This is getting crazy here. There's, the support's overwhelming, honestly. I thought this would just be kind of a goof, to help out the community. But you guys have just really come through it. I really do appreciate it. You really have no idea. So this gets you, again, access to my email address. We'll get you access to the Discord channel. There's a Google group for DigiPi. where everyone's helping each other and providing feedback and new features for DigiPi. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And that, again, gives you access to digipi.org, the DigiPi project, to patrons, just to show you some screenshots here. It's really cool. I use it all the time. It's, it's all web-based, has all of these modes built in, and then you can access them all in your web browser. There's FT8 running in your web browser. You could be in the other end of the room in your easy chair, in front of the TV with the XYL. She thinks you're getting good quality time, but you're actually operating, well, a JS8 call on your phone. She doesn't know, and I won't tell. So that's the digipi.org project. Goes to patrons of the channel. So thank you, guys. Hey, my name is Craig, amateur radio call sign KM6LYW. I'm in California, and I'm clear.